What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Team Solemn Circus live video. Today we're going over Generator, Runick, a deck profile. This is going to be brought to you by Alex. A big shout out to Alex. He's the one playing this deck. I am borrowing his cards just to be able to show you off the deck profile. I have played this deck, tested it. I did want to play it for a bit, but unfortunately Fire King is just a little bit too good right now. So before we dive in, if you like, comment, subscribe, it helps the channel a lot. We are going to be going over a little bit of explanation of the cards as well. So starting off, we are playing the 3 Vala. This is actually a 1-card rank 9. Whether it's in the hand or the graveyard, it can summon itself out by pitching another card. Really important for your strategies is why we're maxing out on it. We're actually maxing out on 2 of the generators. The other generator is going to be the level 4. I'm not even going to bother pronouncing the name because you guys have been on the channel for a while. Anytime that we do see this card, I just cannot pronounce this name, period. So, we are playing this one. This one's the one that tuners out into any other of the other ones. It also has some really cool lore with the Runick cards. So definitely important that you play this just for the lore reasons, not because of the effect. Then we are playing one of the Har. This is going to be your negate. You also only play one of it, so it does negate your cards. Then you have Mardell. It searches for your spells and traps, or I guess it searches for any generator card or one plant monster. But you're not searching for any plants, so this is just going to be your search. You normally do search for the boss stage with this. And then you, of course, have the Delusion. This one just because it comes up, as well as your boss stage of Doom. You don't need to play the ice one. You can play it, obviously, if you want to. You can swap this one out. But a lot of times, this just comes back, brings out the monsters, which is really nice. So you can go for a rank 8 play, or a rank 9 play, I should say. Sometimes you can actually go for the hand rip with it, which ends on an F0, which is really nice. Just for your grind games as well, but you can definitely just swap out which ones you want. You have to play these two. This one's really good as well, but you can swap this one out for the ice one if you really wanted to. That's going to be it for the generator main monsters. The actual rest of the deck is going to be cards that suit with it. So you're also playing the 2 Diviner as well as the 1 Triarchia as well as the DD Sprite. So DD Sprite is actually really cool because it's allowed to banish your cards and then comes back as well. The second standby phase, there's not much you can do about it. It also lets you go into a Barone, which is really important as well. Being a level 1 tuner, you can use any of your level 9s to go into a Barone, which is another form of interruptions, being really nice as a form of negate. And then, of course, Diviner just sends this card, and we all know how this goes. Then for the spells, we are playing the triple boss stage and the 1 terraforming. This is really what you want to end on. You are playing the Runick card, but it's kind of conflicting. A lot of times you want to play the Runick cards, and then you can always set them during your turn. And then obviously, going boss stage and being able to set up essentially your Har, which is a negate, and sending out the tokens is really nice as well. Just a form of interruption, which is really cool. And just this card is absolutely insane. A lot of people thought this was going to break Yu-Gi-Oh!, which just unfortunately did not. I remember if you guys were out there during Mystical Fighters, it's a really cool time. Then we are playing Triple World Legacy Monstrosity. So it's really a card to be Generator Monstrosity, because you summon, essentially, if you have 1 level 9 on the field, you summon out 2 more from the deck, which is really cool. Or you can summon 1 from the hand. So you don't have any of your combo starters, or you already have a bunch of cards on the field, you don't need any other. You just activate the effect, summon out a level 9, or you can summon out 2 of them, which is really cool if you already have one on the field. Very, very nice for your plays. It's really good also with the Runick cards, because you do have the copy of Sleipnir, which is level 9, so you can just easily pair any Runick card plus this, summon out the Runick, and then activate Monstrosity, summon out 2, which is really, really cool. Just important to note this, this card is just absolutely crazy for this energy. Then we are playing for the Runick cards. We are playing only the 1 Fountain. Just because you don't want to have any clashing with the boss stage, which is really important. So definitely, only play 1 of those. But then we are maxing out on the Runick cards. We are playing the Triple Tip, Triple Slumber, the Triple Destruction, Triple Freezing, Triple Flashing Fire for our Runick cards. You could debate playing this card as well. The Mutant Morph. This is one of the newer cards from the Phantom Nightmare set. It does allow you to play through some of your stuff, tributing off one of your synchros, and summoning one from the deck as well. Kind of like a Monstrosity, you can cut down 2 slumbers for it. But for now, we are just maxing out on our Runick package. Unfortunately, these 2 are the only ones that can activate during your turn 0. So kind of important. When you really want to use these as disruption, because a lot of the times you're not going to just end the Fountain. Your Fountain is going to be replaced by a boss stage, which is just a really good card for that. Which is not like other Runick decks. A lot of times, you want to sit on your Runick Fountain so you can get those additional draws. But this deck just plays very differently. You're just kind of digging and using these cards as combo pieces to be able to search for your other cards, which is really cool. And then for the last three cards, we are playing the one Cobble the Grave as well as the two Double Tactic Talents. This is a very heavy hand trap format, therefore, you're able to Cobble the Grave, because sometimes an Ash on the Monstrosity or even like a Bell on the Vala can be very problematic. So just important to stop that whenever you can. And then, of course, Talents can be able to rip the hand or peek if you get hit with a low impact hand trap, which does happen a lot, especially when you're playing the Runick cards. If we do get hit like on an Ash on the Fountain or like a Veiler on a Hugin, it can be quite nice to be able to rip the hand as well, which is just really cool to finish off our 40 cards. And then, of course, going second, it's really easy for us to like summon out or like activate one of the Runick cards, end up trying to like destroy a card on the field. They want to chain and negate, and then you have like a Talent which is live immediately, which is really cool. The Runick cards are able to like force out so much interaction with your opponents, which is just really nice, especially in a deck like this with Talents as well. So for the extra deck, we are playing the 2 Hugin, the 1 Gary. This is because you want to add back the Fountain after you end up putting Boss Fight on the field. So it's very important to play this card, and of course the Hugin get to search. The second Hugin's not as important as it could be a bunch of other decks, because you are only playing the 1 copy of the Fountain. But to replace the Hugin, you have very important, you have double copies of Sleipnir. So Sleipnir is the kind of change in the Runick to Generator cards. This is like the lore connecting to it. We actually think it is a level 4. I'm not exactly sure, but we have the same clothing being worn and stuff like that. So that could just be him. Who knows? I don't really know exactly the lore behind it. Maybe the book states a little bit more. But this card is really cool because it actually does tie in all your stuff like we mentioned before. Being at level 9 really easily, getting your Runick cards to get into access to Generator stuff is just very, very nice, which is like the whole synergy of this deck. And then, of course, we are playing the Baron de Flare. We talked about it earlier. You're playing the Sprite, therefore you need to play the card to go into it. Then for follow-up here for our XYZs, we are playing the Double Leviathan. This card's absolutely crazy. If you haven't read this card, it does just get into this card here, the Jumungle. I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce this card, but essentially these two cards here let you take 2 cards from on the field or in their hand, attach them to this, and then go into, or attach them to this card, and then you can activate the effect of making opponents, and you draw a card, then attach, and then it gains a bunch of attacks. So just very cool. And then if you boss into the field, it does a bunch of stuff otherwise as well. But just like being able to summon this out can be absolutely devastating, especially when you're just eating up that boards and then going for like combos. And then we are playing still the turn 1 combo, going for the Mecha Phantom, or the Phantom Fortress and the Biathin, whatever it's called. We're going to essentially just rip the hand a lot of the times. So if you go with Talents, or they actually activate a hand trap that's low impact, they're hand looping for 1. We activate Talents, we hand loop for 2. And now we can activate these 2 cards, hand looping essentially twice, and then you end on a copy of the Utopia Future, and then we go for the Draco Future as well. So now we have an Omni Negate for your 2 cards, and then we have other cards to play as well with, which is really, really nice to finish off. It is potentially an option. And then like you also have like Runick cards as well, which is able to set. So like, you're essentially just hanging out on like 1 card, so you can absolutely deal with one of the cards they have in hand. You also saw their hand as well, so you know what the last card is. There is going to be the draw for turn, but a lot of times it's not going to make it very important, because you're going to be able to activate the effect of Boss Stage. Boss Stage will then summon with the Har, and then the tokens will come hit the field as well. And for our last card, we are playing the SP. Obviously, we're not playing that many links, but SP is just an absolutely crazy card. You could debatably cut one of these for a copy of Typhon if you wanted to as well. But unfortunately, Typhon's not that great right now in the current meta, which sounds kind of crazy to say. But a lot of times, like when you're playing against the Fire King deck or the Snake Eye deck, they're going to be turn ending you anyways. And so like as soon as you hit the summon of the Typhon, they're going to have ways to either deal with it with like a Princess or anything else. And just like your turns could essentially be over there, which is really rough. And I was thinking like you could also play Zeus in this as well if you wanted to cut one of these. But a lot of times like this is going to be your kind of out to a bunch of cards. Being able to suck 2 cards from the field is just very important. Not being able to send them, and like you won't find yourself having a huge body on the field to go into those Zeus lines anyways. Like if you're going for this already, you're pretty much winning the game, sucking those 2 cards. You could slap a Zeus on top of that and then have an additional send. But it's just like at that point, well, you might as well just have this card on the field anyways. We're not going to show you off a side deck because side deck is obviously very important to your local scene. But if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll answer any of them, as well as like potential side deck options if you guys have any questions as well. Or any questions about the deck, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.